Hey guys, Sublord here, back again with another action figure review, continuing our looks at the Transformers Studio Series Revenge of the Fallen Constructicons. Today we'll be taking a look at the Deluxe class Scrapmetal. Who, you might ask? My only guess is he's an original character created for Revenge of the Fallen. I don't recall there being a Scrapmetal in G1 or other Transformers lore involving the Constructicons, but if there ever was, please let me know in the comments below. That said, if you're wondering where Bone Crusher is in all this, he died in the first movie, so there will be no Bone Crusher, sad face. However, this is brought to us by the fine folks over at Hasbro, and despite the fact that this guy's a deluxe class, they actually did a fine job with him. He's weird, really, and he's a bit blocky for a Bayformer. He's not as crazy with excess bits and whatnot like some of the other ones, but he's definitely solid, aside from the fact that one of the legs likes to pop off on mine, although I think probably both of them do. It's just I got lucky with the one. However, one thing is for sure, he is more solid than the other deluxe Constructicon, whatever the fuck this guy is. This is Hook, and he's a weird little bug man. Very weird little bug man. You even see his head? There's his head. Yep. That's a thing. Is this thing a dog? What's going on with that? And he does actually come with an accessory. It's this plate. This little plate, which can peg on his arm here. Which, you know, not the best integration, I guess, but it's added armor plating, I suppose. I don't know. It looks like an afterthought, and that's what that looks like. It would be nice if you could plug it in somewhere else. Like maybe the back of the arm. That would look a little better if it was on the back of the arm, but either way. As far as his articulation goes, it's crazy. It looks like he's wearing a crown. His crazy little head can look side to side, look up and down. Pretty good, all things considered. He's got a bit of a double neck thing going on, but it's mostly to help look down. He can tilt pretty good. Is this guy double ball peg too? I'm surprised at how many of these have double ball pegs so far. Shoulders will go out, forward and back. They do have a joint that you can... Oh, he does kind of have a butterfly, but this is meant to stay in there. Where's the... Oh, yeah, you can kind of raise his arm up or lower it here. That's a transformation joint, but you could use it for articulation if you want. His elbow joint's technically up here in the shoulder, but he does have like a ball joint here. So you can get a little bit more out of it. But it does leave his arms in the arm curling pose, so that's not very good. But what is that he does have hinging claw hands here, and you can open these all the way up. See his little clippers there. I tend to leave the thumb piece, or the other half of the claw out, so I don't lose the bastard. Trying to pose him. Nothing in the waist. His arm on the back will pose, but you can't use it. I don't think you can turn it either. Yeah, it's stuck like that, so pretty much better off just doing this, or I tend to fold it up like this and then use this piece to kind of help hold it in there, but I'm sure there are other ways to do that so it actually stays, but that works for me, so that's what I do. Hips will kick out, back down, forward and back. You should do like a... Yeah, there you go. You could do a 90 degree with that. Nice tight thigh cuts. He's got the double jointed leg, but he does have the iconic Bayformer chicken leg. As well as some hinge joints in the foot. But no rocker. So far, I don't think any of these guys have had any... Well, frickin' Rampage didn't even have legs. Either way, that is Scrapmetal in a nutshell. Nothing crazy with him, but he is kill. For a deluxe class, he is better than whatever the hell that other guy was. And I think he looks pretty imposing. That said, I feel like maybe he's a little underscaled. He turns into a Bacco after all. But that's just me. However, I think it is time now that we bring in our two regulars, the Mythic Legion's Brother Mandibilith. Right there. And the infamous 11th Spawn. Right there, who as usual towers over everyone. So with that being said, it's time now that we wrap things up with some final thoughts. Overall, and despite the fact that myself included, along with probably most of the internet, doesn't know jack shit about good old Scrapmetal here, other than he's Devastator's hand, I think the fine folks over at Hasbro, considering what they had to work with, did a very fine job bringing this little guy to life in the Studio Series line. So much so that he might be one of the better Constructicons from Revenge of the Fallen. From an aesthetic standpoint, both in robot and vehicle mode, as well as in fun factor. He's just a fun little guy to mess around with. Don't take that the wrong way. That said, we already mentioned it, so why don't we take a look at that vehicle mode. And as promised, here's good old Scrapmetal in his little teeny tiny Bacco mode. I say that because Scavenger turns into, well, for lack of a better term, a Big Daddy Bacco. We'll look at him in the next couple of days here, but yeah, a rather simplistic but fun transformation for this guy. I would say of the two Deluxe Constructicons, which, moving him over so we can bring in Hook with his crazy claw machine arm there, I would say he's the strongest of the two. On top of the fact that Hook's robot mode is literal ass. The Scrapmetal is a little more complicated, but not too complicated, and for the most part, rather satisfying. Hook is just some basic bullshit. I really don't know what they were thinking when they conceived this character, but they must have been on drugs. That's all I'm gonna say. So getting him out of here. Really, they could have made the crane arm like one of his arms. Either way. This guy can, of course, roll back and forth, and that little base plate shield thing snaps into the back here. Keeps everything secure, which I like. And then, of course, the arm can articulate. You can pivot it up and down. There, there, and there. And it does kind of remind me of a die-cast cat Bacco toy vehicle, whatever truck thing, that I used to have as a kid. I think my dad actually still has it downstairs somewhere, but it was similar color to this, probably a little more on the orange side. It had some rubber tracks on it, and I remember playing with that thing an awful lot. Good quality shit. So, with that being said, till next time, catch you guys later.